The mobile operating system battle is not going to get any easier anytime soon. It's just going to get harder with all these cool devices that are coming out on the wireless market today. How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and let's just say hypothetically you're debating between two carriers, T-Mobile and AT&T. You know what this means. It's dogfight time. I've got two awesome devices in my hands right now. One is the HTC One S, and this thing is packing a dual-core 1.5 gigahertz Snapdragon S4 processor, a 4.3-inch display, an 8-megapixel camera, and more. And it's available now on T-Mobile at T-Mobile retail stores and online at T-Mobile.com. Then you have the Nokia Lumia 900. This is a flagship Windows phone available now on AT&T, and it's packing 4G LTE capabilities, a 4.3-inch display, an 8-megapixel camera on the back, and a pretty sweet $99.99 price tag. Which one's the best? Which one's going to win the dogfight? We're going to have to find out, my friends. But first, some love to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with phones like the One S and like the Lumia 900 for use in our one-paw bandit game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you're going to walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, all your settings, your volume settings, camera settings, and more. So when you walk out the door, you're good to go at Best Buy Mobile. Let's take a look. One S, Lumia 900. Which one's worthy of that phone dog crown? We'll find out in the dogfight, which starts right now. So two phones walk into a bar. One's like, hey man, I'm Android. And the other one's like, hey man, I'm Windows Phone. I don't really know where I'm going with this joke. But these are two pretty cool phones, and you know, it's one of those tough calls, one of those mini comparisons in what I call the spring and the summer of smartphones. 2012 has been a really exciting year for phones. It's not slowing down at all. The Galaxy S3 is on its way, both internationally, it's already out actually, and then in the US it's coming out very soon on 5 carriers. So there's a lot going on. HTC's doing stuff, Nokia's doing stuff, and so the dogfights are going to continue. Great for you guys, great for me. I love doing these things, man. It's fun to kind of clash two phones together and see which one comes out on top, as long as you don't clash them too hard, because as you can see, when I drop phones, it's a serious thing. They get scuffed up. But special thanks goes out to the Lumia 900's polycarbonate shell, because it saved the day. But here are two cool phones. One's on T-Mobile, one's on AT&T, but they're both flagship devices in some respect. The HTC One S is over here, and it's available now on T-Mobile for $199.99 after a $50 mail-in rebate. So $200 gets you this bad boy, and this is a member of HTC's One line. So it's the One X, the One S, and the One V, and I guess when you look at it, you can kind of say the S is the mid-range device, but it's really not a mid-range device at all. It is a flagship in its own respects, both on T-Mobile and on HTC, as part of their One line. Specs-wise, 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 CPU. It's got a 4.3-inch Super AMOLED display. No HD capabilities on this. It's 540 by 960 pixels, but 4.3 inches, a nice sweet spot for a lot of people. This device, in comparison to the One X, and like an idiot, I kept the One X over here by my computer monitor, so it's not at reach, or I would grab it and compare it to you or compare it to show you on camera. But this is a much smaller device, a much more manageable device. It fits better in the hand. Some people are going to love the One X and swear by it. Some people are going to like the Galaxy Note. But I think for a lot of consumers, this is a nice sweet spot. I think 4.3 is kind of the new sweet spot in the smartphone market. I mean, it fits well in the hand. It's got a beautiful design. So this comes in 2 colors. And you got, just to continue on the spec run here, 8-megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording. This features HTC's ImageSense technology. So it has burst mode, it has all these different features, which we'll talk about later on in the video. Beats audio as well, integrated into this device as part of HTC's partnership with Beats by Dr. Dre. It's got a 1,650 milliamp hour non-removable battery, although you do get this little slot up here, which reveals the SIM card slot. And that is about it in your IMEI, and that's about it. But beautiful design, got a metal design here, volume rocker over on the side, just really looks good out of the gate. This is probably, out of all the One devices, the X, beautifully equipped device, beautiful HD display. I actually don't like the way the One X feels in the hand. It's a personal thing. It's a little bit too big for me, and it feels a little bit like a toy to me. The polycarbonate is awesome. Love that shell, but I'm a sucker for some metal, and I love the fact that there's metal on the HTC One S. Micro USB charging port over here. On the left side, volume rocker on the right, you've got your headphone jack and your power button up top. Nothing at the bottom, but it's packing Android 4.0 out of the gate with HTC Sense version 4. So the latest builds of a couple of different softwares. Sense 4, obviously, Ice Cream Sandwich as well. Then you have the Lumia 900. This is arguably AT&T's flagship Windows phone right now, and it's packing a single-core 1.4 gigahertz Snapdragon processor. It's got a 4.3-inch AMOLED display with Nokia's Clear Black technology. An 8-megapixel camera on the back with 720p HD video recording, and it's got a beautiful polycarbonate shell. It has 4G LTE capability, so that's a really big win here. And the other win is the price point. $100 gets you the Lumia 900 in one of 3 colors. The blue that you see here, black, and then white as well. In terms of the body, you've got a physical camera button, which you all know me, you know I love the physical camera buttons, a power button, your volume rocker over on the left side, you got your speaker down at the bottom, your 3.5mm headphone jack up top, you got a microphone port, you got your micro USB charging port, and then your SIM card slot here as well. So a couple of things, you know, just kind of glancing over the specs. Build quality here, I prefer the metal, although the polycarbonate is awesome here, and it's a polycarbonate shell through and through, so you'll notice if you look up close, even when I dropped this on day 4 of my 30-day challenge, if you watch those videos you probably remember that, it's polycarbonate through and through, so you'll notice that even though this is dented, there's no white underneath it or anything like that. It's blue all the way through, or black or white, or whatever color you decide to get all the way through. 4G LTE capability makes this device a win. 1,830 mAh battery makes it a win, and $100. So for 100 smackers, you walk out the gate with a really nice high-end smartphone on AT&T. So obviously different platforms here. Windows Phone 7.5 over here. So we're going to kind of walk and talk through each one of the platforms starting right now. Let's take a look at Android 4.0 and see what we get out of the gate. So I've actually been using this device as one of my personal devices for a couple of weeks, and actually T-Mobile's been asking for this device back. So I probably should go ahead and send it back. Actually, I need to send that back tomorrow. So it's a good time that we're doing this Dogfight, because this may be the last 1S Dogfight for a little while until I can snag another review unit. 411 and more, you get Game Base out of the gate here, some T-Mobile stuff. You'll see some stuff I've installed as well, but what I was going to tell you is I actually unlocked the device and I'm using my AT&T because it does have HSPA Plus capabilities on AT&T, so I was using my AT&T micro SIM card in it for a couple of days and really, really love the form factor of this. The only thing I miss is the HD display on the 1X. Every time I put my SIM card in the 1S, I'm like, I really miss that HD display, but the 1X is just a little bit too big for me. But again, that's one of those things, like anything else in the world, wireless, you can't find that perfect device. Everything, you know, there's just always one little thing that's not right, or two little things that make it a less than perfect device. But this is near perfect. I love the build of this, and you can see out of the gate, back to the T-Mobile stuff. Name ID, T-Mobile TV, visual voicemail, Zinio, Where's My Water, which I think that's actually uninstallable, but I'd have to double check for sure. Guess not, because you can uninstall from the, for example, I'll show you with Foursquare, you can uninstall directly from the menu if it is actually an uninstallable application. But that's some T-Mobile stuff you get out of the gate. On the AT&T side, you get Code Scanner, My Wireless, Navigator, Radio, Uverse Mobile, blah, blah, blah. You already know this from all of my Dogfights, the typical AT&T stuff. But you can uninstall the AT&T stuff, which is nice over here. So if you don't want My Wireless, you're not really going to use it, you can uninstall it. Now, Metro UI is what comes over here, and it's intended to look like subway tiles. And you can kind of see that if you've ever ridden a subway before. Kind of looks like subway tiles, but I talk about this in every Windows Phone video. You're probably going to be tired of me for talking about this again, but I'm going to talk about it one more time. The fact that, for example, the messaging tile, the phone tile, they're all squares instead of rectangles. I would love to be able to change those to rectangles so I could see my missed calls, I could see some text messages. That'd be kind of nice, a nice feature. And you know, you look at both of these devices and it's really going to depend on what you use your device for. Customization, Android's going to be the winner. You want something that's fluid, easy to use, same performance every single time, go Windows Phones. So it's a nice alternative to other operating systems on the market. Let's take a look at messaging here. And actually, before we do that, I want to show you some of the different features here. So obviously you get some customizations out of the gate with this. You can move stuff around. You can put the messaging tile up here. You can put Hotmail up here. We'll go over here, for example, and it is not responding very well to me on the desk. Let's go ahead and, come on. Let's try that one more time. There we go. You can kind of mix stuff around and make it your own and put your tiles where you want to put them. That's a nice touch. You could also come in here and change the color theme. Now obviously this is an AMOLED display. AMOLED displays thrive on darkness, so that sounds really evil. AMOLED displays thrive on darkness, but they kind of do when you think about it, because when you go into light, obviously AMOLED displays are optimized for darker colors, so you go into a light background like that, you're going to suck more of your battery faster. But you can change some of the accent colors here, as you can see, and make it your own a little bit. And then of course when you close it and pop it back on, you can customize the wallpaper out here. There's a wealth of things you can do on the HTC One S. They do a great job over here. HTC does a great job. Android does it as well, but HTC really has taken personalization to the next level. And you can see in this little menu here, we'll go into settings, and then we'll go into personalize, because there is not actually a dedicated personalization button in the menu on the One S for whatever reason. There is on the One X, there is in the One V if I recall too, but not on the T-Mobile version of the One S. You can change the scene, the skin, the wallpaper, the lock screen, and more. So obviously you can change it like we've seen with HTC devices in the past. Change it to weather if you want to, so the weather pops up when you do that. You can change it to a couple of different things. Actually, that was not what I wanted. Lock screen style. So you can see productivity, you can see photo album, friend stream, weather. You can really make this device your own. The other thing I love about it is, I'm trying to run through all this before we have to conclude part one. Press and hold, you have 7 home screens, and you can make it your own with widgets. You can see over here widgets, HTC and Android widgets. We'll go into always go into calendar. Let's come up with a different one here. Let's do mail, for example. And we'll come over here, the 4x4 mail widget. You'll notice when I click on it to bring it to one of the home screens, it automatically moves all of the screens, or automatically lights up as red the ones that it's not able to go on. So that is obviously not going to let me do that because I don't have a POP-based or IMAP-based email account installed on this device. Let's try Twitter, for example. Minus the voice crack. Twitter. I don't have that installed either. Let's try this one more time. Third time's a charm. Maybe we have to do calendar after all because I'm not using. So we'll come in here. This is Android calendar, obviously, and you can, of course, use that one. But not only are the Android widgets customizable, as you can see here, and you kind of make it your own, the HTC ones are as well. Actually, that one's not. But we'll come over here. We'll go to calendar. We'll go to HTC. Quite a few. And this was always my issue with HTC Sense, was you look at like TouchWiz, you look at some of the others, and they're very customizable out of the gate. So HTC's finally caught up, and quite a few of their widgets are now customizable. So you can really make this your own. In addition to the ice cream sandwich widgets, you can really customize the HTC ones as well. You'll also notice some new ones, and you'll really see a ton of widgets. For example, we'll come out here and go to all widgets, and you can see page 1 of 27. So there's a lot of different widget choices for you to choose from on this device. Ice cream sandwich pre-installed, back home, and then your recent applications are down here. This is a little bit different. This is more of an HTC skin on top of Android, not very similar to like the Galaxy Nexus, which is packing stock Android, where you'd swipe this way to remove those. A little bit different over here, but nothing too crazy by any means. Over here, little customization things I'd like to see. For example, you'll notice the wireless bar never stays at the top unless you're in the actual call log. And you'll see that the wireless bars stay up there, but you'll notice the LTE indicator goes away. I'd love an option at some point in a future version of Windows Phone to be able to do that. That'd be a nice touch. But otherwise, no real customizations here outside of the ability to change the colors, outside of the ability to change the tiles. Where this phone gets really cool, though, is when you come down here and you go to stuff like Me, for example. We'll go to the Me tile, and from here I can actually control my Windows Live account, my Twitter account, and more. So I can post a message if I want to. I can make it to, Twitter, for example, and I can say testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. I actually did this late last week, so I'm not going to do it again because people are going to be like, what's up with his Twitter account? But you can see my most recent tweet as well, the picture that I have assigned to it, notifications, people that have mentioned me in tweets, what's new. I can see basically my Twitter column there, if you will. I can check in, I can set chat status. That's pretty cool. And another thing I like a lot about Windows Phone is local scout. So obviously Windows Phone's goal is to get you in and out as quickly as possible. They talk about this in the advertisements. Local scout's pretty cool because let's say you show up in a new city, you're like, I don't really, I want something to eat, I don't know where anything is. I landed in Wisconsin, and I don't really go to Wisconsin that much. In fact, I've never been to Wisconsin. So what am I going to get in Milwaukee, for example? I can, it's been in the news a lot today, so Wisconsin's on the mind. If you're a politics or political fan, you know why. But Hooters, Aria Tuscan Grill, Cutters, Savannah Red, I can see what's cool here to eat and drink, what's cool to see and do. And you'll also find that the see and do is kind of updated with what's going on that week. For example, we have Speed Street in Charlotte, and that was, it's a local festival that goes on every year, and that was in the see and do a couple weeks ago. So that was really nice. You shop, you can do highlights and more rather. I tried to mix as well and more, and that really didn't come out too well. But that's a nice feature. I use that quite a bit when I have a Windows Phone on me. I land in San Francisco, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I want a cool place to eat near where my meetings are, or near where my function is that I'm attending. That's a pretty cool thing, and I like that feature a lot in Windows Phone as well. Last but not least, messaging on both of these devices. We won't spend too much time on this. Go in here and take a look, and you can see the interfaces. A couple of different things here. This is a keyboard that I've pre-installed. We'll see what comes out of the gate. You get HTC Sense, and that's about it. So it's a new version of HTC Sense's keyboard, and it's a pretty nice version. Transition effects are nice and fast, obviously, and then you can say the Quick Brown Fox is tired. Quick Brown Fox is pretty tired. Quick Brown Fox is tired and trying to recover from a little bit of a sickness. Oddly enough, he's sick too. Stock Windows Phone keyboard over here. You can install other keyboards from the Android or from Google Play rather on this device, but this one over here, just Windows Phone. Fox is is tired. So both of these are 4.3-inch displays. What I love is I can come in here and change, for example, just by clicking, I can change the word relatively quickly. The quack grown fox is tried, and that's a pretty cool feature on Windows Phone.